everybody. Welcome to another edition of From the Red Carpet. And yes, I'm driving early morning in heavy traffic. Just let it be. Anyway, it's a very Spider-Man filled episode this time, with some Spider-Woman news, some stuff regarding Andrew Garfield and the Sony SpiderVerse, as well as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Or is it Across the Spider-Verse, or yeah. Anyway, stick around and we'll dive right in. Starting off, Venom 3 was officially announced by Sony, with Tom Hardy returning as Eddie Brock and Andy Serkis back to direct. The film is set for a 2024 release. Also returning will be Michelle Williams, Reed Scott, and Stephen Graham. In the film, Patrick Mulligan will become Toxin, but won't be the villain of the film. Actually, he'll work alongside Venom to take on a rogue genetically engineered symbiote called the Xenophage, which is created by the government. As far as Spider-Man appearing in the film, it's not as likely as we all hoped. However, it has been confirmed that Venom does take place in Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man universe. So a while back, I mentioned that Sony put all the Spider-Verse villains in the same universe, with Andrew Garfield as their Spider-Man. And after No Way Home, fans demanded to see Andrew in the red and blue one more time. This led to The Amazing Spider-Man 3 and Venom 3 merging into one film. Well, as of now, I'm sorry to say it's not happening. Andrew was indeed approached by Sony, but he declined the offer, saying he was too old. Is this just another misdirection? Geez, I hope so. Sony does have a contingency, which is to stay in Andrew's universe, but have him retire and a new Spider-Man take his place. Sony does want to go through with a Sinister Six film, with Venom, Morbius, Vulture, Craven, and whoever else fighting Tom Holland's Spider-Man from the MCU. But this idea is fairly new and in the early stages. I guess they decided on Tom after Andrew backed out. This brings me to something I've been wanting to talk about. What if Sony's Amazing Spider-Man 3 was never cancelled in the first place? What would it have looked like? Well, first of all, on the MCU side, Civil War wouldn't have been all that different. They didn't really need Spider-Man for the storyline, but if Spider-Man was in the film, it would have been Andrew Garfield and not Tom Holland. So what about No Way Home then? If we got an Amazing Spider-Man 3, then Tom never would have been cast as Spider-Man, meaning No Way Home wouldn't be a thing. However, Sony had a different multiverse film planned long before, with Andrew, Tobey, and Spider-Man 2099. Okay, that's cool, but how would Venom have been affected? The first Venom film would have came out 1 year earlier, with Finn Wittrock as Eddie Brock instead of Tom Hardy. Not only that, but Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man was originally a huge part of the Venom film, which was all planned way back in 2012. But, with the third one being cancelled, they scrapped Venom until 2016 and then recast him as Tom Hardy instead, tossing out the Spider-Man parts of the film entirely. Lastly, Sony's Spider-Verse would be celebrating its 10-year anniversary this year. Had the third film not have been cancelled, Andrew would have been the center of the Venom, Morbius, and Craven films, intertwining the Amazing Spider-Man with all these other villain films. That was the plan from the start, anyway. This of course means that the Sinister Six would have happened already. Following the Amazing Spider-Man 2, which obviously set up the Six, they would have gotten their own film. It would have been as big as the Avengers film was back in 2012, and then it would have led into the Amazing Spider-Man 3. It could have been amazing. In more Spider-Man news, the sequel to Into the Spider-Verse, named Across the Spider-Verse, has of course been split into 2 movies, with Part 1 being postponed to June 2nd of next year. I know, it sucks. But as of now, the title of Part 2 has changed to Beyond the Spider-Verse, and is set for a March 29th, 2024 release. In this one, Miles teams back up with Spider-Gwen, and somehow Spider-Man 2099 is involved as well. Hopefully, we'll get a trailer pretty soon. We have new insight into the Craven film. As far as plot goes, Craven will be recruited by Calypso to stop Dr. Gregory Hurd from performing the Gathering of the Five, a ceremony where whoever is involved is granted one of the 5 gifts or curses. What does that mean? Well, I don't know for sure. Gregory Hurd is a doctor who becomes a supervillain in a cybernetic suit named Override. His suit gives him the ability to control or override electronic devices. However, after the Gathering of the Five, Hurd can physically perform the duties of the suit without wearing it, and gains the ability to manipulate a mystical fire, as well as create energy blast. Now going by the name Shadrach, Hurd continues being a villain even though this new power is slowly killing him. So in the film, as Craven is hunted down by Hurd, Hurd recruits the Chameleon to do the same. But in a bizarre twist, Craven later learns that Chameleon is actually his brother. Their father is the true villain of the film and is the one who hired Hurd in the first place. And Calypso is also hired by Craven's father and plans on double-crossing him, but falls in love with him instead and decides to help him stop his father. The plot of this one sounds pretty cool, even without Spider-Man, and I can't wait to see the trailer for it. Another Sony Spider-Verse film on the horizon is a Silver Sable movie. I mentioned not too long ago that one of the antagonists of the Madam Web film might be Silver Sable, but I guess now she's getting her own movie entirely. Alrighty then. As there's no director or casting yet, Sony's looking at Jodie Comer to play Silver Sable. We do have a little bit of a plot, and that is, she'll assemble a group called the Wild Pack to seek revenge on a crime syndicate who killed her parents. Sounds interesting. So, you remember that Spider-Woman movie I mentioned a while back? Well, it's happening and is set for a 2024 release. It's still being directed by Olivia Wilde. However, instead of Daisy Ridley, they're now looking at Ana de Armas to play Jessica Drew. In the film, Jessica will develop spider-like powers as a child after taking a serum created by her father. And then she's captured by a criminal organization who plans on turning her into a weapon. She escapes, and then years later, the organization tracks her down, forcing her to team up with a government agent to take them on. As for the villain of the film, whoever's leading this organization, they're looking at Rebecca Ferguson for the role. Alright, here it is, a new trailer for Multiverse of Madness. In this one, we get a way better look at the Illuminati, so let's check it out.
Wondering what happens now.
One of multiversal travel, you don't know anything.
The multiverse, it's dangerous. Things just got out of hand.
Yeah, this is gonna be freaking insane. You know what? Let's have a look at another one.
Strange. It's time. In 10 days, nothing can prepare you for the truth. Everything you've ever known led you to this moment.
Stephen Strange.
The Illuminati will see you now.
Okay, with the insane amount of characters featured in the film, Tom Holland actually is not in this one. However, the events of No Way Home are mentioned, but both Strange and Wong don't seem to know Spider-Man's identity. The Echo series has started filming. I'm pretty sure I already mentioned this, but the series will be led by Alaqua Cox, who is returning as Maya, and will also feature Daredevil and Kingpin, continuing the events of the Hawkeye series. It will begin filming April 25th in Georgia. Okay, in DC news, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom is set to release next year. It will be one of the DCEU's biggest films and maybe the most successful. In the film, Arthur Curry is forced to team up with his half-brother Orm to take on Black Manta as he returns with vengeance. It's reported that in this one, Manta's a lot more dangerous than he previously was. We got a small taste of the film a few months ago, but I think a trailer is overdue. In Flash news, yep, Ezra Miller is still screwed. He's probably not going to return to the role after this film, but, all these DC stars are just fucking up lately. I mean, hopefully Amber Heard doesn't return to Aquaman either, because nobody likes that bitch. Yeah, I'm bad pooping. But it doesn't mean a Flash film will suck. Not only are we getting Michael Keaton back as Batman, but Sasha Calle is playing Supergirl and Michael Shannon is set to return as General Zod. I guess they go back in time to get Zod, or maybe he's from another timeline, because the Zod in this universe became Doomsday. But we know that anything Zack Snyder made having to do with the DCEU is getting undone. There are reports of scenes featuring both Supergirl and Zod, so maybe he helps her and the Flash take on Reverse Flash. But I can't say that for sure. It's not specified if he'll be a hero or a villain in the film. I guess we'll have to wait and see. The Batman sequel has officially been confirmed, like we didn't know that was going to happen. Matt Reeves, of course, is back to direct, with Pattinson back as Batman. And yes, like I said, we knew this would be a thing with how successful the Batman was in theaters. But who will the villain be? Joker? Mr. Freeze? Court of Owls? Lastly, guys, in other random film news, Liam Neeson expressed interest in reprising his role in Darkman. Remember that film? In the 1990 original film, Liam Neeson played Dr. Peyton Westlake, a scientist who was disfigured by an explosion, causing him to operate as a vigilante in the shadows to get revenge on the ones responsible. He basically created this synthetic skin, and there was like this corrupt businessman in town that went after him and had him killed, and he couldn't feel like pain because his nerves were severed, and yeah, Darkman. Neeson stated that he would be very interested in reprising the role. As there's no plans for this ever happening, it would be pretty cool to have a direct sequel all these years later, especially with today's CGI. Well, that does it for this episode of From the Red Carpet. If you guys enjoyed the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe for more. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.